Today we're going to discuss about hyperbola. The learning outcomes of the lessons are: define a hyperbola, determine the standard form of the equation of hyperbola. Third, graph hyperbola in a rectangular coordinate system. And last, solve situational problems involving hyperbola. So now, let's define hyperbola. Hyperbola is a set of points in the plane such that the absolute value of the difference of whose distances from two fixed points, f sub 1 and f sub 2, is a constant. Each two fixed points, f sub 1 and f sub 2, is a focus, plural of that is foci, of the hyperbola. Now, let's proceed to the important information about hyperbola. The transverse axis is the line segment that passes through the center and has vertices at its endpoints. The foci lie on the line that contains the transverse axis. Now, the conjugate axis is perpendicular to the transverse axis and has the co-vertices as its endpoints. The asymptotes of the hyperbola are two lines passing through the center. Now, the auxiliary rectangle of hyperbola is centered at the origin with sides that pass through each vertex and co-vertex. It is a useful tool for graphing a hyperbola and its asymptotes. Now let's proceed to the standard form equation of hyperbola. For hyperbola with the transverse axis is along to the x-axis and centered at h and then k, the standard form is, based on our illustration, we have the squared of the difference of x and h over a squared minus the squared of the difference of y and k over b squared is equal to 1. Now, to find for the c, we need to solve for the a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And then the vertices, we have h plus and minus a comma k. And the co-vertices, and that is h k comma k plus and minus b, and then the foci, we have h plus or minus c comma k. Again, every time na kinukuha natin yung vertices, lagi natin titingin yung value ni a. Si a, again, siya yung distance from the center up to the vertex. Okay? Yun yung doon sa mismong transverse axis natin. Okay, yung semi-transverse axis is A, but the transverse axis yung length, and that is 2A. Okay, and then the co-vertices, that is our B, so you need to get the B to be added or subtracted to K. Okay, and then for the foci, always look for the C, kung ano yung value ni C, yun yung i-add o subtract natin kay H, comma, K. Ang naiiba lang lagi dito, si co-vertices, na kung saan yung B natin, siya yung ina-subtract natin kay K. Pero sa vertices and foci, puro kay H tayo nag-add or nag-subtract. Okay? And then, we have the asymptotes, and that is y is equal to positive and negative b over a times x minus h plus k. Now, kailan ba natin ginagamit itong formula na ito na squared over the squared of x minus h over a squared minus the squared of y minus k all over b squared is equal to 1. So, ginagamit natin siya kapag si x squared is positive. Then, horizontal hyperbola tayo. So, ibig sabihin kapag yung x term natin dito ay positive, ibig sabihin horizontal hyperbola ang gagamitin nating formula para makuha yung equation ng hyperbola. Now, Paano naman pag vertical naman yung ating parabola? Kung ito ay horizontal at ito yung kanyang standard equation, paano naman yung hyperbola at natin na naka-vertical? So ito naman yung itsura ng ating hyperbola, ng orientation niya is vertical. Now, paano ang formula niya ng standard equation? So for hyperbola with the transverse axis is along to the y-axis and centered at h, k, the standard form is we have the squared of the difference of y and k over a squared minus the squared of the difference of x and h over b squared is equal to 1. Now, kapag ang positive naman dito sa equation natin, yung standard form, ay positive si y, automatic, ang ating parabola is ganito, hyperbola ay naka-vertical. Okay? So, lagi natin tatandaan, kung sino ang positive sa kanila. Let's say, kung si y yung positive, ibig sabihin, yung y term natin na y yung naka-squared, kapag yan ang positive, vertical yung orientation ng hyperbola natin. Okay? Kasi yung transverse axis nandito. Kaya minsan tinatawag natin siyang transverse axis vertical or TAV na tinatawag TAV. So, ito yung formula ang gagamitin natin kapag yung transverse axis naka-vertical tayo o yung transverse axis along to the y-axis. Okay? So, kapag si x naman ang naka-squared, kapag si x yung positive, yung x squared is positive, horizontal tayo. Yung orientation ng graph. Okay? So, yun lang yung tatandaan natin. Kung sino lang yung positive sa kanila, doon nakabase kung ano yung orientation ng graph natin. Now, si a squared at si b squared, mananatili lagi silang nandiyan sa position. Hindi sila magpapalit. Ang nagpapalit lang dito, yung nasa numerator natin, si y at si x. Basta ang concern lang natin dito, kung sino yung positive lang, nandoon nakabase yung orientation ng hyperbola natin. Okay? So now, sa pagkuha naman ng ating C, yung C natin from the center up to the foci, o yung focus natin na isa, so, gagamit tayo ng a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And then, yung vertices natin, we have h, k plus a, plus minus a. Now, di ba sabi natin, ang laging kapartner ni vertices sa si a, kuha natin yung value ni a, siya yung i-subtract natin kay h or kay k. Depende kung ano yung orientation ng ating hyperbola. Since ang hyperbola natin is, ang orientation niya is naka-vertical, ibig sabihin, si A, ang i-add subtract natin kay K. Okay? And then, copy lang si H. So, H, K, plus or minus A. Now, for the co-vertices naman, again, ang kapartner nito ay si B. Kuhanin mo yung value ni B, at yun yung i-add subtract natin kay H. Laging vice versa lang, kasi naiiba lang lagi taga si co-vertices. And then, si foci, that is h, k plus or minus c. Again, pag kinukuha natin si foci, yung value po ni c, ang i-add o subtract natin kay k. Kasi naka-vertical yung ating hyperbola. And then, yung asymptote, y is equal to positive and negative a over b times x minus h plus k. So, lagi nyo tatandaan kapag naka-vertical yung ating hyperbola, a over b po ang gagamitin natin. So, bali magiging slope niya is yung naka-a over b. So, positive and negative a over b. Then, same lang din sila dito doon sa orientation ng hyperbola na naka-horizontal. Pag horizontal, b over a. Pag vertical, a over b. Okay? So, yun lang. So, nakukuha lang mga points lang niya na value dito lang din sa ating standard equation. Basta, kailangan mo makuha si A, si B, para makuha si C, gagamit na yung formula na A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. And then, substitute na lang tayo para makuha yung mga coordinates ng bawat vertices, co-vertices, foci, and then yung equation ng ating hyperbola. Kaya merong equation yung yung asymptote, meron tayong line dyan na intersect yun sa hyperbola natin. And then, sabi nga natin, when y squared is positive, vertical hyperbola tayo. Okay. So now, additional info about hyperbola. Yung transverse axis natin, yan ay equivalent to 2a or equal to 2a. And then yung conjugate axis is 2b. And then yung foci length, that is 2c. And then, ito yung pinaka-summary ng ating standard form of equation of hyperbola. So, nandito lang lahat sila. Okay, so, based na lang kayo dyan sa ating nasa module din naman yan natin. Okay, so now, paano ba tayo nag-graph ng hyperbola ng Cartesian plane? So, step 1, make sure that the equation is in the standard form. Step 2, locate the center, foci, vertices, and co-vertices. Step 3, connect the points in a smooth curve. Now, so let us apply all the concept na na-discuss natin kanina. So, i-apply natin dito sa mga examples natin. So, let's start with example number 1. Determine the foci, vertices, co-vertices, and asymptotes of the hyperbola with equation x squared over 9 minus y squared over 16 is equal to 1. Sketch the graph. Now, tingnan muna natin, let us observe yung equation natin. Ano ba yung equation natin? Kasi dito mabase kung ano ba yung orientation ng hyperbola natin. Again, ang concern natin sa equation, lagi natin titingnan kung sino yung positive. So, dito sa equation na to, ang positive ay si x squared. So, naka-x squared tayo. So, ibig sabihin, ang orientation ng ating hyperbola ay naka-horizontal. Okay? Again, so, ibig sabihin, horizontal yung ating orientation ng ating hyperbola. Or yung transverse axis natin ay naka-horizontal. Okay, next. And then si A, yung A natin, A squared is 9, B squared is 16. Hindi sila nagbabago. Lagi yan. Kahit sino mataas sa kanila, walang problema. Okay, solution, A squared is 9. Then to find for the value of A, and that is positive and negative 3. For B squared, and that is 16. Get the square root of both of that, we have B is equal to positive negative 4. Next is we have C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared to find for our C. And then substitute lang natin yung value ni A squared and B squared so that the answer is C squared is equal to 9 plus 16. So C squared is equal to 25. So, square root both sides to find for the value of C, we have positive and negative 5. Okay? Now, kung ayaw nyo mag-solve ng ganitong medyo mahaba, ang gawin nyo na lang is add nyo na lang yung both denominator natin. Then, kuha nyo lang yung root lang nila. So, yun yung one of the way para mas mabilis. Add lang. 9 plus 16 is 25. Square root lang nun, yun na yung C natin. Okay? Kaya may tayo positive and negative 5. Now, para makuha si foci, di ba sabi ko nga sa inyo, ang foci, ang kapartner niyan, na kinukuha natin, yung mula kay C. Kaya kung ano yung value ni C natin, siya yung i-add, isusubtract natin mula doon kay H or K. Kung depende kung anong orientation ng ating hyperbola. Since example number 1, ang orientation ng ating hyperbola is horizontal, ibig sabihin, si C ang i-add, isusubtract natin kay H. Kaya, magkakaroon tayo ng foci, and that is 5, 0, and negative 5, 0. So, kaya foci yan, that is plural. So, dalawang points ang makukuha natin sa focus, kaya foci yan. Okay? So, since ang ating center dito ay 0, 0, kasi lagi natandaan, pag walang kasama yung numerator natin na dito sa x term, kung x squared lang, ibig sabihin, yung h natin is 0. Si y squared naman, pag walang kasama siya, ibig sabihin, ang k natin is 0. So, nangangahulugan, ang center natin is nasa origin. Okay? Now, hanapin naman natin yung vertices. Sa pagkuha ng vertices, again, titingin tayo sa value ni A. So, si A yung i-add, isusubtract natin kay H. So, we have now, since A is 3, so we have positive negative 3, 0. The vertices now are 3, 0, and negative 3, 0. Okay? So, now, let's proceed to co-vertices. Now, for the co-vertices, again, titingin tayo sa value ni B. Yung value ni B, ang i-add, subtract natin kay K. Okay? Kung si foci, tsaka si vertices, puro doon tayo kay H nag-add. Di pagdating ka, tsaka nagsusubtract. Pagdating kay co-vertices, opposite nun, kay K naman tayo, mag-add o magsusubtract para makuha yung mga co-vertices nila. Okay? So, since B is 4, substitute natin siya mula sa co-vertices natin na pagkuha, H, K, plus or minus B. So, the co-vertices now is 0, 4, and 0, negative 4. So, pagkuha na yung asymptote, and that is y is equal to, since horizontal ito, B over A tayo. At wala na tayong H and then K kasi nasa origin tayo, kaya ganito talaga magiging equation ng ating asymptote. So, y now is equal to positive negative, B is 4, and then A is 3. So, copy lang, times x. So, the equation now is y is equal to 4/3 x, and y is equal to negative 4/3 x. So, ganun lang yung pagkuha natin ng ating, o pag-solve ng example number 1 natin, hinahanap si foci, si vertices, and co-vertices and asymptote ng hyperbola natin. Okay, next. We need to sketch the graph. So, pag-sketch ng graph, kuhanin muna natin yung mga points natin, yung foci, vertices, and co-vertices, and the asymptote. Then, ito-draw na natin sila ngayon dito sa ating Cartesian plane. Now, isa pang technique para hindi kayo mahihirapan sa pag-solve. Kung di nyo alam ang pagkuha ng mga foci, vertices, and co-vertices nila, and then, yung paano siya i-graph, ito lang gawin lang ninyo. Since kung ano yung denominator ng variables na meron tayo, let's say si x squared, ang denominator niya is 9. So, para makuha yan, since naka-x yan, kuhanin mo lang yung root ni 9. So, that is 3. Tama? Square root ni 9 is 3. So, ibig sabihin, since, alamin mo, pag ganito, alamin mo muna yung center. Since ang center natin is 0, 0. And then, yung denominator ni x squared is 9. So, kung ano yung square root ni 9, that is 3. So, ibig sabihin, mag-move pa ng 3 from the left and from the right ng ating center. So, 1, 2, 3. So, ayun yung vertex mo. Ganun lang yung shortcut na gagawin natin. Then, sa kabila is 3 din. 1, 2, then 3. So, eto na yung vertex natin para sa hyperbola natin. Now, dumako naman tayo sa 16. Yan ay denominator ni y. So, ibig sabihin, na kay y tayo mag-move. Okay? O magbibigin to count away from the center natin. Since ito ay 16, square root 16 is positive and negative 4. Ibig sabihin, mag-move tayo away from the center o above the center ng 4 units. At yun na yung ating co-vertices. Okay? So, move tayo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then next, sa baba din, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, hanggang dito ngayon yung co-vertices natin. So, mag-draw ka na ng auxiliary rectangle ngayon, kung hanggang sa lang yung tatamaan ng mga points. And then, draw ka na ng ating asymptote. And then, draw mo na ngayon yung ating hyperbola na curve. Okay, so ganoon lang siya kadali sa pag-solve ng example number 1 natin. So, kung hindi mo alam yung formula ng paano ba nakukuha yung foci, vertices, co-vertices, and then asymptote. So, ganoon lang yung technique na gawin mo. na kung paano natin sinasolve. Okay, try natin i-apply yung yung technique natin o yung strategy natin para natin nakukuha yung bawat coordinates nila. Example number 2. Given an equation of hyperbola y plus 2 squared all over 16 minus the square root of x plus 3 all over 9 is equal to 1. So find the foci, vertices, covertices, and asymptotes. Sketch the graph. Again, kuhanin muna natin si A and then si B. Since A is 16, A squared is 16. And then A now is equal to positive negative 4. And B squared is 9. B now is positive and negative 3. Now the center is, we have negative 3 comma negative 2. Again, kuhanin natin yung H and then K. Since ito ay x plus 3, so negative 3 tayo. And then dito naman is beta y plus 2. So yan ay negative 2. So we have negative 3 comma negative 2. Okay. And then next, since meron tayong A and then B, ang goal natin makuha yung value ni C. So gagamit tayo ng A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Okay? Laging tatandaan, kapag A squared plus B squared ang hinahanap natin, ibig sabihin si C, yung C squared natin, dapat mas malaki kay A squared tsaka kay B squared. Okay? Kasi pag inad lang yung dalawa, yung A squared and B squared, ay katumbas siya yung C squared natin. Kaya, mapapansin ninyo, dapat mas malaki yung value ng C squared. Okay? So, we have C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Substitute natin yung A squared and B squared, and that is 16 plus 9. So, C squared now is equal to 25. And then, square root both sides, we have C is equal to positive and negative 5. Now, para makuha yung foci, again, alamin muna natin pala yung orientation ng ating hyperbola. Sino ang positive sa kanila? Since ang positive dito ay si y, ibig sabihin ng orientation ng hyperbola ay naka-vertical. Okay? So, yung transverse axis natin naka-vertical tayo. So, ibig sabihin, pag naka-vertical, kay K tayo mag-a-add. Okay? So, pag foci, again, kukuhanin natin yung value ni C. Siya yung i-add, subtract natin kay K para makuha natin yung coordinates ng ating foci. And then, substitute lang natin yung value which is H and then yung K and then C. We have negative 3, comma, negative 2 plus or minus 5. And then, simplify natin to. We have negative 3. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. And negative 3, comma, negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So, meron na tayong foci ngayon. Then, let's proceed to vertices. Now, for the vertices, again, kuhanin natin yung value ni A. Lagi sila yung hinahanap natin, pag foci, kay C, kuhanin yung value ni C. Kay vertices, kuhanin yung value ni A. Siya yung i-add, subtract natin kay K. So, substitute natin ngayon yung H, K, and then A. So, we have negative 3, comma, negative 2, plus or minus 4. And then the vertices now is negative 3, comma, 2, and negative 3, comma, negative 6. Now, we need to solve ngayon yung coordinates ni co-vertices. So, hindi natin ibigay yung co-vertices. So, kuhanin natin ngayon yung value ni B. So, si B ang i-add natin o isusubtract natin kay H kasi naka-vertical tayo. And then, substitute lang. We have negative 3, positive and negative, plus and minus 3, comma, negative 2. And then, simplify. So, we have the co-vertices. And that is 0, comma, negative 2, and negative 6, comma, negative 2. And then yung asymptote, since ito ay naka-vertical, so magkakaroon tayo ng y is equal to, pwede natin ilagay si k dito sa unahan, wala pong problema yan. Pwede okay na sa ulihan, wala po. So pwede tayo mag k plus or minus. So a over b naman tayo. So kapag, sabi ko nga kapag naka-vertical o si y yung positive, a over b yung slope natin ng pagkuha. Kapag ito ay horizontal, b over a ito. And then, substitute na natin yung bawat value ni K, ni A, B, at saka ni H. So, na-substitute na natin, then simplify natin ngayon. So, the asymptote is y is equal to 4 third x plus 2 and y is equal to negative 4 third x minus 6. Paano nangyari itong 4 third x plus 2? Di ba? Doon muna tayo sa positive. Di ba? Plus 4 over 3 muna tayo. So, 4 over 3 times x minus negative 3. So, x minus negative 3 is x plus 3. Tama? So, gagawin mo ngayon, multiply mo by 4 thirds. So, 4 thirds times x minus 3. So, isa-isayin muna natin distributive property. So, 4 thirds times x is 4 thirds x. Ito na yan. And then, 4 thirds times positive 3 is 4 na lang. Okay, kasi 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. Eh, meron pang minus 2 sa dulo, kaya plus 2 tayo. Then, same thing din ang gagawin mo pag negative 4, pag negative naman ang kukuhanin mo. Negative 4 third times x plus 3 minus 2. So, ito yung naging sagot. Y is equal to negative 4 third x minus 6. Now, kuhanin natin ngayon yung bawat points para mag-graph natin. Ayan. Again, pwede natin i-apply ulit yung ating techniques para hindi tayo mahirapan yung strategy natin. Again, ito si a squared, ito si b squared. Dito tayo sa equation titingnan. Kapag para makuha si c natin yung c squared, so add lang natin yung dalawang denominator ulit. 16 plus 9 is 25. And then square root nun, yun na po yung value ni c natin. And that is 6. That is 5. So, meron tayong positive 5 and negative 5. Okay? So, ang gagawin muna natin ay kuhanin muna natin si 16. Di ba siya ay naka-y? Kung si 16 ay naka-y, so ibig sabihin, mag-move tayo away from the center, above or below. Okay? So, dito tayo 16. Square root of 16 is 4. So, positive and negative 4. So, allocate mo muna natin yung center natin, which is negative 3 and then 2. Doon tayo mag-start pa lang above and below ng ating center. Since square root of 16 is positive 4 and negative 4, so mag-move tayo above the center ng 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yun na ngayon yung magiging vertex mo. Okay? And then yung pangalawang vertex naman, so move tayo naman ng 4 units below the center. So, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Ito na yung pangalawang vertex natin, o yung b sub 2. So, ayan na. And then yung ating co-vertices naman dito manggagaling kay sa denominator ni x naman. So, ang denominator ni x is 9. So, square root ni 9 is positive 3. So, mag-move tayo, positive and negative 3. So, move tayo away, left and right sa ating center. So, 1, so na yung mouse? 1, 2, and then 3. And then 1, 2, and then 3. So, dyan hanggang dito ngayon yung ating co-vertices. And then, begin ka ngayon mag-draw ng rectangular natin or auxiliary rectangle. And then, sa bawat corner nun, i-draw ka ngayon ng ating asymptote. And then, begin now to draw yung hyperbola natin. So, ayun na ngayon. So, kung nahihirapan kayo sa pag-solve o pagkuha ng foci, vertices, and co-vertices, so, pwede naman natin gawin yung another way natin, yung strategy natin para mas madali natin makuha. And then, verify na lang natin kung tama ba sa magitan nung pag-print natin na sila at compare your answer sa pagkuha ng foci, vertices, and then co-vertices. Okay, so ganoon lang po ang pagkuha natin. Okay? And then, yung ating mga asymptote, ayan na yung itong line na meron tayo. Okay, next example. Example number 3. So, find the standard equation of an hyperbola given its vertices, negative 2, negative 2, and 4, negative 2. And one of its foci is negative 3, negative 2. Sketch the graph. Now, dito, paano ba magiging system natin? So, ang strategy na gagawin natin dito para mas madali kayo, observe niyo yung ating mga given na coordinates ni vertices and then yung isa sa mga foci natin o yung focus. Di ba? Pag sa hyperbola, Ito, kailangan naka-collinear din si foci, si center, at saka si vertices. Now, tingnan nyo para malaman natin yung orientation, tingin kayo saan sila common. Sa x values mo, si y values natin. Kapag same sila dito ng y, let's say -2, -2, and then -2, same lahat sila ng y natin, di ba, x, y tayo. Pag yung y nila is pare-parehas, ang orientation ng ating hyperbola niyan ay it is, kapag si y yung negative, kapag ang y nila ay pare-parehas, so ibig sabihin ito ay naka-horizontal. Okay, so graph natin ngayon, kuhanin muna natin si center. So we have x, gamit ang Moid formula, so we have -2 plus 4 over 2 times -2 plus -2 over 2. So the center now is 1, -2. So same ulit sila ng denominator, ng denominator ng y din. They're both -2. Okay? So, paano ba ang gagawin? Para makita ninyo, sketch natin yung graph. Consider pantay yung graph natin. Okay? So, meron tayong -2, 1, and then 2, at 1, 2, ayan, -2, and -2, yung vertices muna. And then, we have -2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 4, -2. So, nandito yung another vertices natin. Let's say ito si B1. Ito naman si B2. B sub 2. And then yung foci, we have -3. Okay. Ito. And then -2. Ito ngayon, let's say ito si F sub 1. Kunyari na lang kasi ang hirap mag-drawing ay magsulat gamit ang mouse lang. Okay? So, ayan. Ibig sabihin ng orientation ng ating graph ay naka-horizontal yan. Okay, hindi tinamaan na. Basta consider na. So, ayan yung magiging itsura ng graph natin. So, horizontal yung hyperbola na meron tayo. So, pag-ganito lang yan. Sorry, ayaw umuwi. Basta ito na yan. Yun na yun, yung drawing, yung illustration ng pag-ganyan. Okay? Now, to find for the A, again, kailangan natin makuha si A, si B, at si C. So, this time, kuhanin mo na natin si A. So, from the center, that is -1 and -2, and the vertex is -2, comma, -2. Okay? Erase lang natin para makita ninyo yung ating graph, ay yung ating given. Okay? Now, ngayon, we have now, kailangan natin makuha si A. Paano mo nakuha si A? Di ba sabi natin si A, yung distance mula sa center papunta sa vertex. So, kahit sa ang vertex dito, di ba dalawang vertices tayo, either sa isa sa kanila, walang problema. Doon ka kumuha na. Para distance lang, kailangan lang natin makuha, at yun yung si A. And then, use the distance formula. Substitute natin yung bawat given natin. So, a squared is equal to -2, -1 squared plus -2 minus -2 squared. And then, solve natin. We have a squared is equal to -3 squared plus 0 squared. So, a squared is equal to 9. A now is 3 units away from the center. So, nakuha natin si A, and that is 3. So, susunod natin kukuhanin ay okay, so sunod natin kukuhanin ay si C muna. Hindi pa natin makukuha si B kasi si B, diba, nakukuha natin yan mula sa distance ng center papunta sa co-vertex natin. Since wala pang, hindi natin alam, walang point na binigay patungkol sa co-vertex, so hindi natin agad siya makukuha. So, ang meron lang tayo is naka-collinear lang yung ating, yung collinear lang yung ating vertices, center din yung foci natin. So, doon lang sila collinear. So, ibig sabihin, makukuha natin muna kuhanin muna natin si C. Kasi si C, siya yung distance mula sa center papunta sa focus. So, C muna ang kukuhanin natin. After natin makuha si A, C na. Okay? So, to find for C, get the distance from the center to focus. C is 1, negative 2, and focus negative 3, negative 2. Okay? By the use of distance formula, substitute natin yung bawat given. And then C squared is equal to negative 3 minus 1 squared plus the quantity of negative 2 minus negative 2 squared. And then C squared is equal to negative 4 squared plus 0 squared. C squared is equal to 16. And the square root both sides, C now is 4 units away from the center. Okay? And then next. So this time, makukuha na natin yung value ni B. Kasi meron ka ng C at meron ka ng A. Makukuha natin yung B sa pamamagitan ng C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. And then substitute na natin ngayon yung values ng A squared at B squared. So we have 16 is equal to 9 plus B squared. And then subtract 16 and then 9 and that is 7 is equal to B squared. The square root ng I squared both sides. B now is equal to 7. Square root of 7 units away from the center. So meron ka ng A squared and B squared. So makukuha na natin ngayon, at meron ka ng center. So makukuha na natin ngayon yung standard equation ng hyperbola natin. So substitute lang natin, since alam naman natin kapag yung pag points ang mga binigay ng mga coordinates, titingin lang kayo sa kanilang mga coordinates, yung x and then y. Kapag yung x nila ay pare-parehas, ibig sabihin naka-vertical yung ating orientation ng hyperbola. Pero pag si y naman nila ay pare-parehas, which is negative 2, negative 2, negative 2, horizontal yung orientation ng hyperbola natin. Okay? So, gagamit tayo ng formula ng standard equation, and that is the square root of the difference of x and h over a squared minus the square root of the difference of y and k over b squared is equal to 1. So, ayan na ngayon yung ating standard equation. Then, substitute na natin para makuha natin na yung pinaka-standard equation natin. So, ito na ngayon magiging graph nung ating example number 3. Okay, so ang center is 1 and negative 2. Ito. And then, yung ating, since applicable pa rin naman dito yung ating strategy, since ang denominator ni x is 9, o yung x term natin is 9, so move tayo ng 3. Kasi square root 9 is 3. So x tayo, so 1, 2, and then 3. So 3, ayan. And then sa kabila din, 1, 2, and then 3. And then yung 7 naman, square root is 7. So around, ano yan? Nasa 2 point something. Okay, so 1, 2, something. Diba? So yun yung mga ano natin. So 1, 2, something. So yun na yung pagkuha natin. Kasi radicals yan. Kaya din natin estimating nila. Pero pag ginap natin yan, magiging accurate dapat. Okay? So, next. Example number 4, paano naman kapag yung given na equation is hindi naka-standard equation? Naka-general equation naman. So, paano natin ito sasagutan? Kagaya example number 4. Give the center, the foci, the vertices, and the asymptotes of the hyperbola with the given equation 9x squared minus 4y squared minus 90x minus 32y plus 305 is equal to 0. Sketch the graph. Again, kapag naka-general equation ng ating mga given, kailangan i-express natin sila into standard equation. So, paano natin gagawin? Again, copy muna natin yung ating general equation, and then arrange natin. Pagkasama-samahin natin lahat ng mga same na mga variables. So, magkakaroon tayo ng 9x squared minus 90x minus 4y squared minus 32y is equal to negative 304. And then yung lahat ng constant, i-isolate natin sa kabilang side. Okay? And then, after that, ano na tayo dito. Kasi pag naka-general equation tayo at para makuha yung standard equation, gumagamit tayo ng completing the squared o yung CTS. So, yun ang i-apply natin dito para makuha natin yung center ng ating equation o ng hyperbola. So, since para di tayo mahirapan muna, so dito muna tayo kay x term bago tayo kay y term. Since kay x term, para mapaliit yung value, ito, alam naman natin, meron silang divisible sila both side by, both, yung x squared and 9, ay yung x squared tsaka x natin by 9. Kaya, i-factor out natin si 9 para mapaliit natin yung value. Okay? So, we have x squared minus 10x na. And then, ganun dito kay y term. So, yung 4y squared minus 32y. So, ang gawin lang din natin dyan ay i-factor out si 4 kasi they are both naman divisible by 4. So, is equal to negative 305. And then, dito na tayo ngayon sa loob ng parenthesis mag-work out ng ating mga solutions o sagot. Okay, so copy muna si 9, mag-completing the square tayo dito sa loob ng parenthesis. Now, paano ba ulit tayo nag-completing the square? Di ba ang ginagawa natin para makompleto itong x squared minus 10x para makuha natin yung isa pang term para maging trinomial siya o maging perfect? Ang gagawin natin ngayon dyan ay kukuhanin lang natin ulit yung kalahati yung coefficient ng x. Since negative 10, kalahati nun is negative 5, then squared mo, kaya meron tayong 25 dito. Okay? Minus 4, copy ulit. Copy natin yung 4 times y squared plus 8y. Now, paano makukuha si 16? So, again, kukuhanin lang yung kalahati ni 8 nung y natin, o yung numerical coefficient ni y. And then, squared mo lang yun. Yun na po yung sagot natin, 16. Is equal to negative 305 plus, again, bakit tayo nagdagan dito? Sabi ko nga dati, kung ito ay naka-equation at kung ano man ang ginawa mo sa left side o yung left expression, kailangan same din ang gagawin mo sa right side natin, yung right expression. Kung nag-add ka, mag-add ka din dapat sa kabila para maging equal pa rin. Okay? Since meron tayong na-add dito, so yung 9 times 25, so ito na yun, i-add natin. Then, negative 4 times 16, ito na po yun. So then, simplify na natin ngayon. Factor natin itong nasa parenthesis. So, we have now 9 times x minus 5 squared minus 4 times y plus 4 squared is equal to negative 144. And then, di ba, ang goal natin sa standard equation ng hyperbola, di ba yung sa right side o yung right expression, naka-equal into 1. So, paano natin ito may equal to kay 1? So, ang gagawin natin para mag-equal kay 1 yan, so, i-divide natin sila both sides kung ano yung constant natin o yung nasa dulo natin. So, kung ito ay negative 144 para maging 1 yan, mag-divide tayo both sides by negative 144. And then, simplify natin, 9 and then negative 144, yan ay equal kay 16. Okay? 16 yan. And then yung negative 4 divided by negative 144, ito ay equal kay 36. Ayaw sumulat. Ayan. Mamasat yun na yan. Is equal to 1 now. And then, arrange lang natin. Mas maganda na inuuna natin kung sino yung positive. Since meron tayo ngayong standard equation ngayon ng ating hyperbola, and that is y plus 4 squared over 36 minus the square root of the difference of x and 5 over 16 is equal to 1. So, ibig sabihin, si y yung positive dito, ang magiging orientation ng hyperbola natin ay naka-vertical. So, yung transverse axis, vertical tayo. Okay? So, yung transverse axis vertical, ayun yung ating standard equation. And then, next, since hindi pa tayo tapos, ang hinahanap natin is yung center, yung foci, vertices, and asymptote. So, since meron na tayong center, ito na yung center natin mula sa equation, standard equation. Ito. And then, yung ating A naman, and then yung B, ito na sila, yung A squared and yung B squared. A squared is 36, B squared is 16. Again, copy muna natin. So, to find for the foci, solve for C muna tayo. Diba, ang goal natin kasi si foci, kailangan siya yung kapartner niya si C. Kailangan makuha natin yung value ni C. So, di ba natin nakukuha? Kaya solve muna natin. And then substitute natin ngayon si a squared at si b squared. So, add natin or get the sum. C squared is equal to 36 plus 16. And then, C squared is equal to 52. Then, square root nun ng both sides. So, we have positive negative 2 square root of 13. So, yan ngayon yung C natin. Now, kompleto na tayo. Meron tayong center. Meron tayong A squared, may B squared na tayo, tsaka si C. O yung C squared natin, which is 52. So, makukuha na natin ngayon yung foci, yung vertices, and then yung asymptote. Now, yung foci, since ito ay naka-vertical, ibig sabihin yung si C, siya yung i-add at i-subtract natin kay K. Then, substitute lang. And then, separate na lang natin para mas makita natin yung bawat points. So, we have 5, negative 4 plus 2, square root of 13, and 5 times negative 4 minus 2 square root of 13. Okay? And then, pwede nyo naman din isolve din yan, ibigay yung pinaka-value, magde-decimal ka nga lang. So, wala namang kaso kahit i-decimal ninyo or naka-radicals pa rin yan dyan. Okay? And then next, let's proceed to vertices. And then, for the vertices, and that is h, k, plus and minus a. At kuhanin natin yung value ni a. So, yung a natin is 6. So, substitute now. So, we have the vertices 5, 2, and 5, negative 10. Okay? And then, for the asymptote, since ito ay vertical, so a over b tayo. Substitute lang natin yung value ni a and then b, and then si h and then k sa ating asymptote. Ayan na ngayon. And then, simplify natin yung asymptote natin. Yung y is equal to positive and negative 6 over 4 times the quantity of x minus 5 plus negative 4. So, the asymptote now is y is equal to 3 halves x minus 23 over 2 and y is equal to negative 3 halves x plus 7 over 2. Okay, so yun na ngayon yung ating asymptote. So, distribute nyo lang ulit si 6 over 4. Or pwede siya maging simplify mo na 3 over 2. And then, distribute mo na isa-isa. Ayan. Tapos, kung sa constant, subtract natin kay K. So, ganun lang. And then, graph natin. Copy muna yung bawat point, center, foci, vertices, asymptote. At ito na yung tsura ng graph niya. So, naka-vertical yung ating graph. Okay? Ang orientation ng ating hyperbola.